This headset came out almost 5 years ago in October of 2018. It was an improvement over the original Samsung Odyssey, and it was $500 when it was released. Today you can get a lighter, sleeker wireless headset for $299. So the question is, how does the Odyssey Plus fare in 2023 with many more VR games and improvements made to the technology since its original release 5 years ago? To answer that question, today I'll be reviewing the Samsung Odyssey Plus Windows Mixed Reality headset, which I'll now refer to as the Odyssey Plus because that's a long ass name. In this review, I'll talk about the quality of the headset, the lenses, and controllers, as well as the tracking and any issues I've had with the headset. Let's get started with the headset itself, specifically the comfort. So the Odyssey Plus has a solid feel to it when you're holding it, and this is because it weighs 1.4 pounds, and with the lack of a head strap, you can definitely feel the weight on your forehead after even just 15 minutes. I personally bought some Velcro straps and fastened them in an X pattern across the top of the headset to help with the weight. It's much more comfortable now, and although it still leaves a red print on my fat ass head after about 40 minutes, the weight of the headset is no problem. The face cover is removable and washable, and it's pretty comfortable. I've never had any issues with it. The back band of the headset features a wheel to adjust the diameter of the headset from front to back, and I have to say it's pretty easy to use. I set it once and I completely forgot about it. I don't really mess with it too much. The back band itself has never been uncomfortable or led to a pressure point, and overall the headset's pretty comfortable after the straps that I added. The build quality of the headset is a solid 8 out of 10. I noticed the built-in headphone covers are starting to peel, but this is after 4 years of use, and the rest of the headset looks and feels great even after a few drops and smacks against the wall. I've definitely abused this thing, not on purpose. It's not like I've put it through a torture test or anything, and I'm not being sarcastic, I really haven't. I've just used it like a normal person and smacked a few too many walls and doorways and stuff like that. And the only thing showing wear besides the headphone padding is the cable, and this might be because I use a pulley system and so the cable is constantly being pulled upwards, but it hasn't given me any issues yet. The audio itself is okay, it's nothing crazy. I'd honestly compare it to a $40 pair of Sony headphones, which might sound cheap, but honestly, they're not awful. My biggest gripe with the audio is how the speakers don't go low enough for the size of my head. If I physically grab the speakers and really press them down, and if I was to hold them there, the audio sounds pretty good, but the speakers are just above my actual ear canal instead of right on it, and it's always a hassle when putting the headset on to get the speakers right where I want them, and they never really stay there anyway whenever I start to move. Another potential hassle about the headset is the lenses, so let's talk about those. The Odyssey Plus has Fresnel lenses, the ones that have a bunch of rings around the center, and the lenses suffer from a couple of problems, the first being the hassle it is to getting them centered with your eyes. The headset does have a manual IPD adjuster, and this is used to adjust the distance between your eyes, and it's very useful, but the problem is still positioning your face and the headset so that the sweet spot of the lenses is perfectly centered with your eyes. Once you do this though, the Odyssey Plus can be a very beautiful experience, and this is because the colors look really nice and it has OLED displays, and the FOV is pretty wide at 101 degrees. If you pair this with the ability to super sample via Steam VR, then you can get a really nice quality image. I personally set it all the way up to 200%, but keep in mind I do have a 4080 and my room gets pretty hot because I work the shit out of my whole PC while playing VR, but nonetheless it looks pretty nice. I did however mention that this headset's lenses suffer from a couple of problems. That was the first one, but the second one is glare. I experienced some pretty noticeable glare when using the headset, and it definitely takes away from the immersion. In low light situations, it's very noticeable, and I keep wiping the headset thinking it was dirty at first. The last part of this review is for the controllers, and the controllers feel pretty cheap. The tracking isn't great, and the tracking rings get in the way of reloading in first-person shooters. It's pretty annoying. The build quality of the controllers is okay. The reason I say they feel cheap is because of the buttons. The buttons aren't tactile or mushy, they're kind of in between. Here's a sound clip so you can kind of see for yourself what I'm talking about. It's hard to distinguish the directional presses on the trackpad, and the tracking of the trackpad itself isn't the most intuitive. I don't really see why you would use them a lot. I haven't really played a VR game where they're super useful, so it's just another thing to note. Another thing that can feel broken at times though is the tracking. In first-person shooters, it's hard to aim down sights without losing tracking of the controller closest to you because of the way the headset tracks. I keep having to readjust my controllers every time I go to aim down sights, and this really does get me killed a lot. This is frustrating, and the tracking also makes it super awkward to throw stuff and even duel with swords, like on Blade and Sorcery. But honestly, it's not the end of the world. You can definitely kind of get used to it and do some workarounds. It's just worth noting that it can be really annoying. I definitely want to upgrade. Overall, I'd say the Samsung Odyssey Plus has served me well over the past 4 years, but I'm also definitely looking forward to upgrading later this year to probably the Quest 3 because it seems like a really kick-ass headset. To summarize this review, I talked about my experience with the Samsung Odyssey Plus Windows mixed reality headset, the lenses, and the controllers. Let me know if you have any questions about this headset. I'd be happy to answer them in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see gameplay that I captured using this headset on my PC, then I'll go ahead and add that video next so you can watch it. Thanks.
I need some help.